What up? We're back, everybody.
Dang,
Live
dude,
at
just
Gnomon
chopping them down,
College.
dude. There you got it, dude.
I got it right this time.
It's not genome or
No, I said genome.
or gnome or whatever you're
Gnome.
saying.
Gnome.
Yeah, dude, gelato. And
Jeez, I don't know.
what
I
you were
got it
saying.
right.
You're
I
just
got it
getting
right.
hungry, dude.
I am, dude. I didn't get any of that pizza.
I didn't get in the pizza either, dude.
It's gone, dude.
It's
Oh, my
all good,
goodness.
dude. It's all good. It's all good.
Hey, we had two awesome guests earlier, but you know what? This one,
Dude,
right here.
Gary,
Everybody's
whack.
here?
Dela, come on.
What?
Okay,
No.
cool.
We got, ladies and gentlemen, Jared Krichevsky. I didn't want to say it wrong.
That's actually
Yes.
That's actually
Krichevsky.
really
All
good.
right.
No, it's like a silent C, like Chevrolet. So Krichevsky.
Krichevsky. There we go.
Krichevsky.
Smooth.
Sorry, dude. It's just that the East LA in us
Yeah.
will sometimes like get in the way of us pronouncing things correctly.
Yes.
So
had that
we just
problem the whole day.
apologize.
It's been my whole life. So I'm used to it. Like
I didn't,
Well, my name is Javian, so I get the
You know-
same thing.
you know what
Yeah,
it's like.
exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, I've been Javier my entire life, so
Yes,
just
exactly.
I'm just throwing that out there. So I understand the pain. So now it's just gonna be me
He's gonna
crying
start
this whole
breaking
time. Oh God.
yeah, so we weren't kidding. We were talking about Jared and everyone else because like Jared, I'm gonna put out some credits out here that,
Do it,
that you
dude.
worked on as a concept artist. Wonder Woman. Let's stop right there. What's up? Really?
First of all, I just want to say thank you because I have a 5-year-old daughter, and that Wonder Woman is like life to her. So she.
I didn't make Wonder Woman.
I know you
Hey, but
didn't
you
make
work on
Wonder
it,
Woman,
man.
but you
Yeah,
just
yeah.
being a part of it. I'm just extending a thank you. You know what I mean? It's
Just
like
take
on
it.
behalf
Just
of
say
on behalf of my 5-year-old daughter. She thanks you. She thanks you.
You worked on Wonder Woman, Ready Player One, which must have been fun because Ready Player One just had
was a
so much
blast.
elements
Yeah,
to it,
dude.
That was a
right?
blast.
Ghostbusters. What else I got? Pete's Dragon, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. That's close to this guy's
man.
heart.
Yeah,
Right here, dude. En mi
that was-
corazón.
that was
Like
the
deep in
dream.
my heart, dude.
yeah. That was very, very surreal.
Yeah, I
Very
can
surreal.
That must have been
imagine.
awesome.
Yeah.
You worked on the Wolverine. You worked on this little show. I don't know if it's many people watching it. It's called Stranger Things. Something like that.
I don't
know.
Strange
Strange
places.
places. I don't know.
Strange,
Something.
I don't know.
Strangers
something
in
Something
Yeah.
strangers and things.
Strangers in Things. I don't
Yeah,
know.
yes.
That sounds like another different
Yeah,
show.
yeah.
I don't know.
That might be a parody of something
Guys,
else. I
Stranger
don't know.
Things. It's only the biggest show on TV right now. It's like, oh my god.
Ooh.
You got a lot of great stuff, and as we were talking about Ready Player One, that must have been a blast since you were like
It was
get to do a lot of stuff on there.
Yeah, we had Blue Sky. So when you get Blue Sky, it's like, hey, do whatever you want, and that was awesome because I was with my team and we would just spitball and come up with things and try things out, and we had the world had to feel like a giant MMORPG.
Yeah, dude.
And so, if the whole internet is playing this game, the entire internet, people could be any kind of weird thing that they wanted.
Yeah.
So we just kind of let it fly and let it happen. So
I got you.
it was that was
That must have been amazing.
Yeah, that was a blast.
Oh man.
Dude,
So-
the cool thing is just like, how did you guys marry, like original concept stuff with nostalgia? Like, how did that kind of both come into play? Or
Yeah, we. You kind of pinpoint the things in your childhood that you want to convey or show, and so you have to fit this narrow realm of like we can't do licensed characters,
Right.
So. The legal department on Warner Brothers for that was massive because
I'm sure.
they got everybody
yeah,
for
the Iron
show.
Giant, dude.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
that's insane.
So we were tasked with designing a bunch of background characters just to fill space because this whole world is so massive. So we would get occasional like, okay, so we have a green light on this character, we have the license for this character, we don't have the license on this character, but we're trying to get it. Do it, but it may not get shown or whatever it is. So we would do characters, and they'd say, "Nope, they got, we couldn't get the rights for that, or
Like Star Wars, I'm assuming, like any of that kind of stuff.
No,
or?
I don't think any of the
you can-
Star.
yeah.
I don't think there's any Star Wars in
No.
RPO.
No, but I mean like them trying.
Yeah, they're
to
trying to
get
put-
that.
I think they try. I mean, I know they tried for
Yeah.
sure, but probably easier to get the lower hanging fruit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that was Warner Brothers, and Star Wars is now Disney, so I'm sure Disney's
Yeah,
Yeah.
dude. Yeah.
Maybe not.
like, we're gonna keep this $10 billion for ourselves.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah. Exactly.
So that was kind of the grounds that we were on. So we just tried to come up with wacky background characters, and what we would do is we'd say like, oh, this is our version of this character, kind of thing. So
I mean, you guys had Chucky.
yeah,
This is
I mean,
crazy, and it worked so well too. It was like so awesome.
Yeah, we didn't work on him because I know the ILM art department, and there were like every visual effects house
Yeah.
on the planet worked on that movie. So I'm sure all the art departments were just thrilled.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude.
And that's part of what you realize, working on big movies like this is I am one small tiny piece of a very large puzzle.
Yeah.
And the amount of artists all coming together to collaborate on something like that is always humbling, because you see, you think you're doing good work, and then you see the art book come out, and you're like, oh, these guys were really good.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it is humbling.
That's pretty awesome.
yeah,
sure.
but at the end of every movie, you just sit through the credits, and when that wall hits, the wall of artists in visual effects companies, you just look at them and you're like, these guys are the real heroes. These are the guys just sitting there every day cranking out renders. And
And it's amazing when you sit there because of Marvel movies. We watch credits.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, because of that.
And it was very clever of them to do that. Too.
Yeah.
It was a
And-
brilliant way to get people to like sit through it.
Yeah.
And
it's amazing to see the amount of people
Yeah.
just on the visual effects side.
Yeah.
And like I said,
massive.
sometimes you see different visual effects companies, not just one,
Yeah.
but different
Multiples.
people. Yeah,
Yeah.
multiple doing different things.
Yeah.
So that's pretty cool to the unsung heroes of this movie get
I always sit through the credits.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter the movie. I always sit through the credits because, that's someone's blood, sweat, and tears. That's years of someone's life.
Yeah.
In some occasions, it's a long development period, or, the costumers, or, the booms. The guys
Yeah.
working the mics and the audio equipment, like they deserve credit too. And
Dude,
Yeah.
random fact, dude, because I just learned this week that we should credit all those credits to George Lucas, because I guess he couldn't pay people when he did American Graffiti, and
so you just gave him credit.
because before it was just they would just do the department heads,
Yeah.
and they wouldn't show anyone else.
Right.
But because he couldn't pay some of them, he just said, you know what, we'll put it in so that we'll display all
That's
of your
amazing.
names and everyone on there. So I just thought it was cool. I was
That's
like, oh man,
amazing.
like I did
Yeah,
not know
that's
that.
cool.
But
Yeah, and
George
it's
Lucas
like-
just breaking down barriers everywhere, dude.
It's like Millicent Patrick, who designed the creature from the Black Lagoon. She was uncredited for years because Bud Westmore, who was the head makeup artist, didn't want her to get
Jeez.
her own credit.
Whoa,
Wow,
no
that's
way,
crazy.
dude. That's
Yeah.
crazy.
And so now
Such an iconic character
Well, and
too,
now
dude.
now we're much more aware of it, and it's like, no, it was her. It was Millicent.
Yeah.
That's
So
crazy.
she's kind of the high priestess of creature.
That's awesome.
So
dude.
how was it working on Stranger Things and
was
being
awesome.
a part of that?
Yeah. So I only did a little bit on season 1. So season 1 was kind of happening around me as I was working on other stuff, and then season 2 came around, and they were telling us, we're going to show the evolution of the Demogorgon, and it starts off as this little tadpole. So I did a couple different passes, and another artist named Matt Millard, who's also amazing. He sculpted out the now tadpole shape, and he actually had to run off for the day, so he sculpted that out, and I had to finish his design.
Oh, shoot.
So it was a collaboration there, and that was the one that got picked. And
That's awesome.
Yeah, and
That's dope.
so to this day we joke about seeing our baby together.
Right? Yeah,
That's awesome.
That's
they made
amazing.
a Funko out of it. There's the kid in the little slug.
Yeah, I've seen that, yeah.
Yeah, and so we kind of joke. Or he sent me a picture of it was like someone made like a gummy bear out of the
What?
towel.
Oh, really?
No way,
Yeah,
dude.
I mean it looked disgusting. But
I'll
but
eat
that
it.
was
I'll eat
like
it.
one of those cool things. Is like, hey, that's our baby.
Yeah,
you know?
dude.
That's so
it's
cool.
Like, so that was awesome. And then we got to chart the evolution all the way to Demogorgons. So like figuring out the stages of that thing and watching how it sprouts legs and and then
Like the
when does
demo
flower-
dogs
when
and
does
all
the
that
flower-
stuff.
the
Yeah.
dog. Yeah, we didn't know that it would have a name like Dart. We didn't find that out till the show came out and we watched it. We were like,
Oh, really?
It's got a name.
Oh.
Yeah, 'cause we
Whoa,
didn't
no
read the script.
way.
Yeah, we didn't read the script. We didn't know what was going on. They just said, design this thing. And we're
Yeah.
like, cool.
I'll
You
do
know,
it, yeah.
Sweet. So, yeah.
That's
right.
pretty awesome.
So it was fun, and then the cat got eaten, and it was justice for Muse, or I think it was. There was a hashtag.
Yeah, that's funny.
It was trending. At the time.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
it was just it's always surreal because you're working on something that might not get seen for 2 years, and so you get to have a secret that you cannot tell or
Dude,
share with
that's
anybody.
insane.
And so, and then by the time it comes out, it's kind of old news to you. Because
like
you're
two-
like,
what,
yeah,
2 years ago?
yeah, because like, oh, I worked on that a while ago.
Yeah.
and then it's surprising to you because you're like, oh wow, because you don't get the whole story, or sometimes the script changes, or things just happen in production, and so whenever your stuff does make it to the screen, it's almost a double surprise.
Yeah.
because you're like, oh, they could have changed it, or this could have happened, or
That's crazy.
So anytime you see anything that you've done on screen, it's always like a surprise to you, and it's also like amazing, and that's why you do it. You watch it, and I remember the first time I saw one of my designs on screen, and it just
yeah, I can
my God.
imagine.
That must
it's
have been
an
crazy.
adrenaline rush,
Yeah.
and it's a drug.
So is it? Do you have to fight the urge to be like, hey, bro, like that's me.
mine,
That's
that's mine.
like do that. Like I
mean,
do that. Like
you go through stages of it
Yeah.
because the first stage is like excitement. You get the project in, and you're like, oh my God, and then there's the panic that immediately follows that, like, oh my God, I have to do this thing for XX person,
Right.
And then you go through the process, and the process actually just disappears, like all that other stuff disappears, and you're just doing what you do, and then it goes away, and you kind of have this disappointment, because it's often production now. Concept is done, now it moves through. Now it's got to get shot and filmed and VFX'd and all this stuff, and that's a 2-year cycle. And so then you're just sitting there, just like, oh, I wonder how that thing's doing.
Right.
And did it make it? I don't know.
Man, that's
And
tough.
so it is tough. And then, the majority of stuff you have, you can't show anybody.
Yeah.
Like all the best stuff I've got, I can't show anybody.
Dude,
Really?
that's
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah. So I mean, like that's the other side of it. It's like,
Yeah.
It's so when you really do get something through, you have to treasure that, and you have to really hold on to that moment because it's gone.
Yeah.
It is, and then the stuff you're most proud of is like for a little tiny movie, and it didn't do well, and
Right.
or it didn't get the attention that you wanted, or
Yeah.
whatever it is. So you just have to kind of go with that emotional roller coaster.
Gotcha.
And,
Right.
And just kind of, I'm gonna ride this thing.
Yeah.
And
So I know you had mentioned earlier too that you were starting to do a screenplay.
Yeah.
So is that something that you're looking to dive deeper into? Maybe
Yeah,
getting into writing
definitely.
more? Or
well, it's I find with whether you're making art or writing or whatever it is, it's a discipline, and you have to spend time doing it to get better at it.
Right.
And I know I'm weak at writing, so it's something that I have to do for me to get better at. I have no delusions of grandeur, like I'm going to be a screenwriter, and they're going to buy my script for $1 million.
Right.
And all that. I have no delusions of that. It's more so just like, if I can understand the writer's journey, that is going to make me a better artist too.
Oh, that's a good way to think about it. Yeah.
And so if I can understand how someone puts something down on a page, because it all starts with the written word.
right.
And if I can understand how that process goes, that's going to make me a better storyteller. It's going to make me a better artist. And then hopefully, maybe I'll actually sell something one day.
Yeah,
Yeah.
dude.
Sell an idea. But I'll tell you this, when it comes to whether making concept art or writing, I think writing's way harder. I think it's so much harder than making.
That's
Because all
fun.
you have to do is make a visually appealing image.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Putting words on page and making dialogue sound natural, like people are talking, that's way hard.
Yeah.
That's way hard.
Can imagine.
But
That's awesome. No,
Yeah.
that's awesome. You're like dipping your feet in different things too, and not just
you got to do
know?
it just to grow, because I don't believe you grow in your comfort zone. So when you're nice and safe and warm, you're not being pushed.
Right.
So if you're doing something you're not comfortable in, that's going to force you to grow. So
Yeah.
I know I'm not a great writer, so I've got that to work
And that's
on.
and that's awesome too, because as a teacher,
Yeah.
you
I was
hear,
gonna jump into
yeah,
it, yeah.
dude, that's something that I feel is important for you to be able to live out and say and tell your students too, like, hey, like, don't live in your comfort zone, go out there, do something else, and expand your.
It's like, hey, I suck too.
yes, something like that too. Yeah, but it's like I'm constantly working.
Yeah.
So you should
And
should constantly work too.
You need that. You need to constantly get checked on what you're good at,
Yeah.
and you need to get a check on what you're good at, get a check on what you're bad at, and push what you're bad at to get better at it. I mean, it sounds kind of
No, but no, it makes sense.
You know what I
though.
mean? Like,
Yeah.
you just you're not going to be happy no matter what you do.
Yeah.
Like as artists though,
Yeah,
that's
as artists,
typically
you're never
that's typically the mode that you're in is
Right.
you're always critiquing yourself.
Yeah, exactly.
You're your worst critic, as they
Yeah.
say. So
Exactly.
And Jay mentioned that you're a teacher, so you're a teacher here at.
I do teach at Gnomon. I've been
Gnomon.
teaching here for 6 years.
That's
now.
awesome.
I like how
And,
you avoided saying it too, dude. You're a teacher here at, and then you just
No,
let him
I
say
saw
it.
he was gonna say it.
Yeah, I get it.
I was
Trick,
gonna say it.
dude. That was awesome.
I'm smooth, man. Come on. But no,
So I'm an alumnus too. I went here.
Oh, you did? Okay.
Yeah.
That's
so I
awesome.
graduated in 2010, and I came back to Max, the head of education here, and I said I got an idea for a class. He dug it, and I've been happy to teach for
That's
6 years
amazing,
now.
dude.
yeah, that's awesome. They just need to have you up there, what you did, and people should be flocking over here, man.
You know,
Come
what's
on.
funny is the students come out way better than me, and that's good.
Well, that's the.
right?
I guess
Right,
that's
yeah,
the goal,
yeah,
right? Yeah. You wanna-
Because I look at the student reel now and I'm like, oh my god, but that's good.
Yeah.
Right.
If you didn't,
Especially as an
feel
educator,
that,
yeah.
yeah. If you didn't feel that, then what are you doing?
Yeah, exactly.
Then you're just complacent. If
Yeah.
you're- I don't know, if you're in a headspace where you're like, I'm the best at everything, then
Yeah.
you're never gonna grow. People
Yeah.
are
For sure.
just swinging their meat around.
So you work at currently at Jim Henson
Yes.
Company. We already asked. You didn't do the Dark
Dark
Crystal.
Crystal.
No, Dark Crystal, yeah.
Great one.
No, I'm working at home, so freelancing for Jim Henson, and but they've been so great.
That's
and,
awesome.
It was actually, they hired me onto a project before Dark Crystal hit, and so they were like, oh, we hope it does well, and then of course it comes out and it's a masterpiece. It's
Yeah.
an art masterpiece, and so it just kind of like, oh my God, I'm working for them, and they're killing it,
dude.
and they're I feel like they're in the middle of a renaissance, and it seems like that kind of practical puppetry work
Yeah.
is
Well,
coming back as
that
well.
Dark Crystal, the new Netflix series is amazing.
It's
the artistry and everything and what they did with those puppets
It's
and everything.
stunning.
It's
Dude, the
amazing.
awesome thing is, like I mentioned to you, I have a 5-year-old daughter, so we showed her that, and it's crazy that they're able to recapture the same magic that we all went through in watching it for the first time, and then she was able to get it, and then she was able to get that same type of feeling. So I thought that was just like super awesome, because now, like you
passing
said,
on to the next generation.
yeah, and like you said, it's kind of like that renaissance now coming up with this
Yeah.
generation coming up now, and they're gonna enjoy it all. They're gonna live with it and have their own memories with
so
it.
lucky. These kids are so lucky.
Yeah,
We don't even
dude,
know.
they
We
got
had to wait,
everything
what,
right
30
now,
years?
dude. Yeah.
We had to wait 30 years for it. And they just did it
Seriously.
all in a bingeable show.
Yeah, but
So
it's
we-
awesome though. It's like you're a part of that now. So
Yeah. Well, I mean, they've been so nice, and the projects are so fun. So I'm just hoping to keep that gravy train rolling right now.
Yeah,
For sure.
'cause, but they've been so nice. They invited us onto the lot on Thursday, so.
That's great.
It's the lot that's on La Brea, and that was the original Charlie Chaplin studio.
Oh, sure.
Where they built, where Chaplin built his studio, which was on an orange grove, and so Chaplin broke ground there and
That's awesome.
built that studio up, and then it changed hands a few times before it went to Henson.
That's nuts.
And now you walk on there and there's so much history and
Crazy.
They have a shelf just full of Emmys.
No way.
Yeah, man,
That must be.
the shelf is like weighed down from all the awards that they've won over the years.
Oh my
That is-
gosh, dude, that's
So
insane.
you can't help but like feel like a little kid, when you
Yeah,
see all
dude.
That's awesome.
I mean, you showed us the picture of the original Skeksis.
I know the original.
Earlier, and that's like, dude,
That's-
you have access to that. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, you can see that, and that's real to you. Like, that's so cool.
Yeah, and there's something about I was explaining it earlier, but there's something about the puppet. You look at it, and it's not moving, and you're like, wow, it's a really great puppet. But then when you see them move and emote and act like on a show, and you're like, wow, it's alive.
Yeah,
Yeah,
dude.
it's crazy. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, I got two final questions. One of
Sure.
them is, you worked on a lot of great stuff, amazing stuff. Is there a like holy grail still that you'd want to work on, or something that you
yeah.
really want to work on?
Oh yeah. Well, I'd love to work with Del Toro again.
That's right, because you did work with Guillermo del Toro. Right?
Yeah, and I want to say like, I did so much. No, like I was a part of a collaboration and a part of a team at Legacy Effects on a show called Antlers, and I can't really say anything about it, but
Right.
it was still probably one of my most favorite experiences, and
Because he's all creatures, too, dude.
Yeah,
Yeah.
his thing is
yeah, and it was fascinating to just sit there and I'm a concept artist, so your place in the room is you have to know where your place in the room is. So I'm not gonna like pipe up to Del Toro. No, you're doing it wrong. You can't do that. So my place was just to come in and sit and listen and so I got to hear the man talk and the breadth of knowledge that he has about film and creatures and his thoughts and all those things. It was a really important learning lesson, and so I'd love to do that again. Obviously,
Yeah.
It's awesome.
But I have a whole list of heroes that I want to work for, and whether those things happen or not, that's not up to me. That's up to the fates. But,
Yeah.
I've been already incredibly lucky, to have any career at all, let alone the one.
Yeah,
for sure.
That's
you
awesome.
you read that stuff back to me, and I'm like, what? No. Because it doesn't feel real.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To you until someone tells you
Yeah.
that it happened to you, and you're like, what?
No, that's awesome.
Don't lie to me.
And so, and so the other thing is that we the type of podcast we do movie reviews and recommendations and stuff like that, and about things to watch, stream, TV, whatever, right? And then we have a little segment called Pick of the Week.
Okay.
Pick of the week!
That's what he does, that kind of thing. And so so we give our pick of what we recommend people to watch
Okay.
stuff.
Okay.
So we wanted to give everyone your pick of the week.
Okay.
If you have a pick of something, doesn't have to be new, can be an old thing, something
one.
you watch. All right. So
So
what would it be?
lately I've been going back to retro science fiction. So
Okay.
I've been watching a lot of old movies again. So specifically within the 1950s era, there was this kind of surge of like B-movie science fiction movies. So the one I recommend is This Island Earth,
Okay.
and that's 1954, I believe.
Oh,
wow.
shoot.
All right.
And at the time, it was 1954, 1955, because I think it came out like a year or two after Creature from the Black Lagoon. So it was Universal Pictures, and Universal Pictures had already kind of struck gold with Creature from the Black Lagoon, so they were looking to capture that magic again, and so their movie was called This Island Earth, and it's very 1950s.
I'm sure.
All the guys talk like that. Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
Johnson, like all this stuff. And it's
Were the
very,
ships
very,
like are the ships with string?
Yeah.
And at the time, you look at it now and you're like, wow, they had matte paintings and
Yeah,
effects and all this stuff. So it's an important movie kind of in its history, and it also has my favorite creature. Back to the creature night is the Metaluna. And it's I guarantee you've seen it. It's this mutant with the giant brain.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and it has kind of like the circular eyes. And
Oh,
stuff.
yeah.
That was also designed by Millicent Patrick. So
Oh, shoot.
Wow.
I loved that. I love that stupid mutant. It's so silly. It's wearing pants, and like apparently they didn't have the budget to finish out
That's
the legs
amazing.
and all that stuff. But so it's wearing pants with a little atomic, signature on it.
Yeah.
And the movie itself is like almost incomprehensible today. But it's also kind of relevant it was about a super smart society that kind of goes to war with itself. And even all these years later it still seems somewhat prescient.
Right.
So,
That's crazy.
so that's my recommendation.
There it is.
It's called This
Awesome.
Island.
This island
By any
Earth.
chance, do you know
It's
where
on
to
YouTube.
find
You
it?
can watch it
Okay.
today. Yeah, you can watch it like right now.
That's awesome, dude.
It's utterly silly.
That's awesome.
But I always find you got to go back to old movies sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I've seen probably every, you sit on a computer all day, you watch movies, but every so often you got to watch how the history of movies happened.
For sure.
So that era is, I think, specifically very special.
That's
Awesome.
awesome.
That's
Well,
so awesome.
Jared, thank you so much for being with
Thank you
us.
for
I
having me.
appreciate it.
Yeah,
We're
dude.
so honored to have you here. It was a good time. We had fun.
yeah.
It was very awesome. Thank you so much. People could find you. What's your? I had it here.
You can,
At Monster Mash?
That's my Twitter. Is at Monster Mash 042. And then my Instagram is at Jared, Jared Krichevsky, Krichevsky.
There you go.
Awesome. Thank you for that because I'm sure
Yeah.
he would have been like,
That's why I gave it to you. I go.
No, I
"Yeah."
know. I know.
Well, thank you so much. We appreciate it.
It's a mouthful.
yeah. We get it, dude.
Well, thank you so
That's
much.
awesome.
We appreciate it, and
so much for having me.
hopefully we can have you again sometime. Again.
hope so.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
Well, thanks a
Yeah,
lot.
man.
It'd be rad.
All right. Thanks.
All right, dude.
Take it easy.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.